G'day, welcome to Marketing Strategy Planning. This is a webinar by Justin Bruce to help you with your strategic marketing planning. I'm going to use Prezi as a presentation tool and guide you through the steps that I use to plan out your marketing. So what is strategy and how does it work? We'll get to that, but first of all, this process can pretty much be used to analyze your organization's situation, kind of like a balance sheet, and then effectively plan marketing strategies for the future so that you're well placed to sustain a competitive advantage, or at least get to one and then hopefully leverage that to get to the next one. So what is strategy? Well, it's the activities that your business performs. It's not the process, but it's the planning behind the activities. And choosing to perform these activities differently, or choosing different activities, is what sets you apart, gives you your competitive advantage. So in terms of positioning your brand and leading in your field, whatever it is, whether it's through product, design, price, strategy is what helps you do that. So first of all, an organization is in my opinion, well advised to have a marketing orientation. I'm a little biased as a marketer. However, an orientation comes about or delivers superior customer value, which is what you need to be competitively advantaged. So, a customer orientation, competitor orientation, and then the coordination of those two throughout the organisation, sharing the knowledge and insights so that you can effectively plan and implement your strategies is pretty much the pyramid of stability, if you like, that delivers the long-term focus and allows an environment for new product development and for ongoing sustainable advantage. I've put in here as well latent needs, because I think understanding the current customer is one thing, but understanding the latent needs helps you plan for the future in terms of forecasting and trend analysis. So how do we do that? Sounds simple, but it's not. But I'm going to take you through the steps that I use, and that hopefully will break it down so that it is fairly simple. So first of all, an audit of sorts, or an analysis. I'm sure you're familiar with a SWOT analysis. The way I like to plan them out is a simple three-step process. What are the three key observations, and then what are their strategic implications? And this will help you understand the situation that you're in. Taking that situation to the next step, I don't think it's enough to just list your opportunities and threats and strengths and weaknesses. I think it's a good idea to do a TOES analysis, which is kind of a flip of this, and it shows you or helps you understand rather what are the strengths that you have that can build on that you can build on, that help capitalize on those opportunities, and also what are the strengths that overcome the threats. What are the weaknesses that you need to avoid threats, if you can overcome them, that sort of thing. So I think this is a really good tool, a TOES tool to help you work out what kind of strategy you need to overcome the problems that you have now, but also position yourself well for the future. So this should lead you to a core problem. And I think it's a good idea to state that as a question, and it can revolve around the 4, 6, 8, 12 Ps, however many you decide to have. You know, with product, place, position, and price, but also people and the other Ps, however you decide to carve that up. So when you come to a question, you then need to solve that question with a strategy. So what are the actions, activities, projects and decisions that your organisation is going to do to achieve, to answer that question effectively and to achieve the goals? So the goals then that you measure your strategy by are called objectives, and these need to be SMART, of course: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely. Um, they can be around market share, sales leads, customer satisfaction, those sort of things. They're the obvious ones, but they can be a little more vague, depending on your industry and your sector. So I've mentioned the SMART objectives. An objective must have, a timeline. It must have an achievable result and measurable result. Otherwise, it's not really an objective, it's just a statement. But these objectives are what you can measure by. So having narrowed everything down to 3 core strategies that you hope to answer the core problem with, what are the 3 corresponding objectives that you can measure those strategies by? There's no point having a strategy without a measurement. Otherwise, in a year from now, you'll be in no better position than you were last year. So there are examples. And finally, in conclusion, I think you need to evaluate the strategy that you've developed. Have all the critical issues in that core problem been solved? Do the strategies generate cash? Obviously, the bottom line is of crucial importance, regardless of whether you're a not for loss or not for profit, or what your objectives are, whether they're vague, market share, but either way they still need to lead to financial gain. But do they also add value to everybody, to all of the stakeholders, whether they're customers, suppliers, shareholders, whoever the key stakeholders are you need to satisfy? The customer's going to be better off. Does it add value? Is it a value generating strategy? Because your competitive advantage all comes down to creating and sustaining value. And leveraging that value, of course. Competitors, will they react? What will their reaction be? And in your SWOT, have you addressed this? Are you able to overcome their reaction? Will a strategy be convincing? I mean, if you have to sell this into a board, or if you have to sell it to your shareholders, or even just to your team, your staff, your suppliers, can you convince them? Does it make sense? Is it an ABC? Are there 2 premises that lead to conclusion on every occasion that you can argue, validly? And are there any contingencies? What happens if it's unachievable? Is there a fallback strategy? Have you really thought about all the assumptions that you've made in your SWOT and planning? If so, can you justify these assumptions? And are there any other additional factors that you've left out for the sake of progress? We don't want paralysis by analysis, so we do want to make some assumptions and we do want to move forward. So once you've done that evaluation, you should be able to justify it. And justifying it includes, segmentation, who should be targeted with this strategy, and how will your recommendation affect your 4Ps and all of the media and the communications? What are the supporting functions you need to implement the strategy? Do you need more resources? Resource allocation is the key to to effective marketing and good ROI. Discuss the likely competitor reaction. We've talked about that, and the contingency plans, the backup. Once you've done this evaluation and justification, you should be able to sell it to anyone. You should believe in it. You should be passionate, motivated, and be able to achieve that long-term profit focus by having this orientation, this marketing orientation. And that's the end of the webinar. I hope you got something out of it, and I'm confident that this process works because I've used it on a number of occasions, and I haven't yet had any issues with it. So thank you and good luck.